After an unbelievably stormy period of weather here in the UK, I decided it would be maybe a little bit interesting, maybe a bit of fun, and hopefully nice and calm and relaxing to record an ASMR style, almost guided meditation walking through the experience of being on a canal boat during stormy weather conditions. This has just been posted as the latest in my audio podcast series, The Sort of Interesting Show. I thought it would be a nice little suitable cross-promotion moment to be able to put the image of my fireplace from my old boat pumping out the heat as the flames dance away, and play you this nice, calm, relaxing audio with the sounds of rain in the background. So my friends, I invite you to imagine that you are currently on board a canal boat on an extremely rural and dark canal, out amongst the trees, the fields, and maybe even a few cattle every once in a while. You're not particularly worried about the storm outside. The wind and the rain are driving in against the windows, and every now and then you're sure you can see a drip come through the mushroom air vents on the roof, but you dare not close them up in case you get incredibly warm, because that incredible fireplace in front of you is not just flickering with the wonderful orange dancing flames, but also radiating a tremendous amount of heat out throughout the boat. You couldn't help but feel almost a little bit sleepy in this scenario. The gentle motion of the boat, the crackling of the wood on the fire, and the faint smell of the burning fuel permeating as the wind drives the smoke from the chimney down into the windows every once in a while. Of course, the wind can get into the chimney itself, and so every so often you're just slightly startled as suddenly there's a puff of ash that bursts from the bottom of the fire. Maybe even a few smouldering cinders break free as well. But apart from these freak gusts of wind that drive down and meet you spectacularly in the boat like that, it's really quite a relaxing and a strangely serene and almost a hypnotic experience to be on your boat in these conditions. But this relaxing environment can't stay perfect forever. Every so often the wind hits the branches of the trees hanging over the boat just perfectly to knock off a lot of the larger pooling raindrops that have collected on them, and suddenly it sounds to you as if a flock of seagulls has landed on the roof of the boat, tapping all over it with their feet. But the seagulls, or in this case raindrops, soon dissipate, and everything seems to go calm and quiet for another few minutes. But as the wind picks up and starts to catch the boat a little better and a little cleaner from the side, you can feel as the boat is pushed away from the canal bank just slightly, the tension of the ropes pull it back, but also just tilt it inwards towards the bank that little bit. As you lie there listening to the gentle sound of the canal bow hitting the grassy canal bank as the ropes pull it back, you start to hear a slightly alarming and far less natural, sharp, almost metallic sounding noise, and you realise that you've fallen afoul of one of the classic issues of a windy night on the canal, and that is that from somewhere that we may never know, a glass bottle has floated downstream and wedged itself between your boat and the canal bank. So now when the wind pushes your boat away from the canal side and the ropes pull it back in, you hear that sudden sharp tap of glass on metal. You lie there for a moment or two thinking perhaps it'll float away, Perhaps if I'm lucky I'll fall asleep soon and it won't be an issue. But the reality is that you will more than likely dwell on that noise, getting slightly less sleepy, slightly more uncomfortable every time you hear the metal of your boat tap against that solid glass bottle. In the end, you will put your coat on, put some shoes on, and run down the towpath in the darkness to prise the bottle free with a stick and put it on the stern of your boat to inspect in the light of day and maybe curse under your breath as you do. Once you open that boat door though, all of the calm, warm coziness is immediately sucked out of your body and you find yourself in a bitter world of absolute darkness, of raindrops being lit up at close range in your torchlight, and of course of the wind being shockingly cold after you've been so warm and toasty on that boat. Then, after a few seconds of the glass bottle rescue mission, you get back onto the boat, push that door open, and can't believe how suddenly the boat feels like the warmest place you've ever been, and just how rapidly the wind has started to chill you to the bone. So safely back indoors, you maybe tend to the fire a little bit more, just feeling that you might want to add a little bit more fuel while you're up and awake, but that runs the risk of the other classic stormy night on a canal boat issue, and that is over-tending the fire and then becoming increasingly warm and outrageously hot and sweaty on board. You decide to place a few extra lumps of coal on the fire and that you're finally going to get some sleep no matter what, and so you climb back into bed, the fire throwing heat up and down the boat, and the incredible orange light dancing around the walls as the fireplace is reflected over almost every inch of the boat's interior. The long shadows that it casts dance around just as merrily as the flames do in the fire, and for this brief moment, everything is right in the world. You know that tomorrow morning you might have to get up and walk down the muddiest towpath you've ever seen to check up on your car, or to walk to the local shops to get supplies, or even if you're particularly unlucky, you might have to hop on your bike and face not just the muddy towpaths but also the local country lanes, which have turned into a series of ponds, lakes, rivers and other outdoor water features. However, you may be incredibly lucky and know that you have got absolutely nothing to do and nowhere to be tomorrow. And if that's the case, then you may find yourself sleeping more restfully and peacefully than most normal nights, as the white noise of the rain on the roof and the gentle rocking motion once again shroud your consciousness and slowly lull you to sleep. Whatever you wake to find in the morning, you will deal with then.